Good afternoon, students. Welcome back. I hope I am audible. Am I audible, Nirmal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, in the morning, we have discussed about the circuit switching, packet switching, then overview of a packet switching with respect to virtual circuit identifier. Then we have completed an activity with relevant to switching. And also we started with the link layer. We have started with the nodes link, then how nodes and links are connected. Then what are the services? We started with the framing. So we'll continue where we left in the morning class. So we also discussed about the flow control mechanism. So with relevant to a producer and a consumer. Okay, so now we'll move on to the error control. Error control, yes. Whether we started the error control in the morning? Normal? Okay, so we'll start from error control here. So in the morning we have discussed about the services. First one is the framing. As I told that we will be discussing about the bit and a byte stuffing later on. So we'll complete the error control and the congestion control. Then we'll move on to addressing. So in the morning we have discussed about the error control. So how the errors plays a vital role when they are transmitted over a over open space. So due to some external parameters of the environment, it is more susceptible to the error. So it has to be detected and it has to be corrected. If not, if you are not correcting, you have to discard that packet which is being corrupted. Then it has to be retransmitted again. So this is an issue each and in every layers. So regarding that congestion control, as I told that whenever your input is more than the capacity, you have a congestion in the traffic. So you need to inform your source whether to reduce the congestion, reduce the generation of the packets or to slow down the generation of the packets. So there are certain protocols available that can be able to control the congestion. There are two mechanisms available. One is that closed loop congestion control, then open loop congestion control. So one is used for a before the occurrence of congestion, other one is that after occurrence of the congestion. After congestion is being occurred, then you will be using the mechanism to correct that, reduce the congestion. And other mechanism is the that is used to prevent the congestion that is to happen. Okay, so normally these congestion control will also take place in a network layer or in a transport layers. So network layer or a transport layer because of the end-to-end nature. So this is what we have discussed in the morning, and also the categories of a link. One is the point-to-point link, other one is the broadcast link. As you know, when you go with a point-to-point link, you will be using the shared resources, and that is dedicated resources. And for the broadcast link, you will be using the shared resources. And we also discussed about the types of two layers. One is the data link control, other one is the media access control. So for broadcasting, we'll make use of both. That is a data link control, that is a DLC, and MAC, media access control. And for point-to-point link, we'll make use of a data link control alone. So this is where we stopped in the morning. So the logic link addressing defines the IP address and it identifies the at the network layer. Since it is the top layer in the layer 2, so it holds that IP address which is available with the network layer. So it does not reach without the with the IP address alone. It is not possible to reach your destination. So you need to map the IP address with the MAC address. Okay, so in order to go through several nodes in between, whether it may be intermediate node or any other nodes, you need to map the IP address along with the MAC address. Okay, so one thing you need to remember, that IP address in the datagram should not be changed. When it is changed, automatically you may not be able to track the packet where it is going, and we may not be sure that it will be reaching the destination unless you have the IP address mapped with your MAC address. If the destination IP address in the datagram changes, the packet never reaches the destination. So that is the thing. If it is changes, the datagram doesn't the type of the packet that is available in each layer. So destination or the host router can never communicate with the source when you have changes in the datagram. So we'll be discussing about the link layer addressing now. So you need another addressing mechanism for a connectionless internet network. The link layer addresses the two nodes. Okay. So one is the link address, that is called physical address, or you can say the MAC address. Okay. So we call it by different names. Okay, it may be a link address, or maybe a physical address, or maybe a MAC address. Okay, so all the three remains the same. The MAC address, which is of 48 bits. Okay, so which will be separated by a 6 bytes. Okay, 6 into 8, 48. Each will be having a 8 bits length. So we'll be having 6 separation. So we'll be having a 48 bit. So this is how you will be having your communication in the link layer. As I told that it is used to link the two nodes. That's why we are saying that links and the nodes are the two entities that is available between the links. Okay, you may be connecting the links. Okay, as I told that this is the encapsulated packet, or you can say encapsulated frame. So normally you will be having, so in this case you are assuming that you are going to have the communication between the Alice and the Bob. So you will be knowing two addresses. One is the IP address, other one is the link address. As I told, the link address and the physical address or the MAC addresses are same. The address which are available in red color represents the IP address, and the address that are available in the black is said to be your link address. So the link address has to come at the end. Okay, we may not know the link address, we will be knowing only the IP address. So with the IP address, we will be getting the link address. So as an acknowledgement from the destination, from the Bob, you will be getting your link address back to the source. You will be transforming, or you can say you will be transmitting the data along with your that is your IP address. So you will be having your source address. N1 is my source address, that is Alice. You know to whom I want to communicate, that is the Bob. So his address is N8. So you will be having a data. Along with the data, you will be sending that IP address. So this is the thing that you will be transmitting. So it will be encapsulated with your MAC address. Okay. So the MAC address that will be receiving at the end. So you will be transmitting this frame. So the frame will be transmitted to this switch or the router. So it will be forwarded. So when you take any switch or the router, it will be having its own link address, that is called MAC address. You can see here the router R1. The router R1 has two interfaces. As I told that whenever you are using switch, it has to address with a port. Whenever you are using the router, it has to be addressed with the interfaces. So this router has two interfaces. Just a minute. So it has two interfaces. One is L2, other one is L4. So L4 or L2 are the link address or the MAC address available with this particular port and this port. So at this interfaces, you have L4 as the address, and with this link, or you can say with this socket, or you can say interface, it has L2 as the interface. Okay. So you will be likewise you will be having an N2 as the IP address and N4 as the IP address and N3. So here we have taken three output, or you can say three ports interface available, L2, L3 and L4. L2 is connected with the frame through that is L3 is connected through the Alice, and L4 is connected through the L6, that is the next router. R2 is the next router. You can see in this network, it is comprises of two end devices and two routers. R1, R2 are the routers. Each routers will have the three interfaces, that is L2, L4 and L3, likewise L7, L6 and L5. So this packet, or you can say this frame, since you have the frame here, the data along with your IP address will be received by this R1. When it receives R1 through the interface L2, it has its IP address N2. So when it receives through L2, it has the IP address as N2. Okay, so it has to be updated with the link addresses. You can see here, as I told in the previous slide, your IP address should not change. Here N1 and N2 are the IP address of the source and destination. So this R2 will forward the frame to the next router, keeping that N1, N8. N1, N8 are the source and destination IP address same. You can see here, this link address will be changing. Initially, the link address will be here. You can see. So this will be comes later. You just see here L4 and L5. Normally, the source which is transmitting will have the link address first. Then the source that is receiving, the end user that is receiving, will have the link address at the back. So here we have the link address as L4 and L5. L4 is the one that is generating, and L5 is the one that is receiving. But whereas in the case of IP address, you will be having the reverse. The generation will have at the first and the destination will have at the next. That's why you have N1 as the first and N8 as the second. So it will be receiving by this in this router. So router again will updates. Here you will be having a L1 and a L2. So the same frame will be available here, and once this L6 will be through the L7 interface, it will be transmitting the frame, so that this frame will be received by the router, or you can say end user Bob. Now the Bob will update its link address. That is why it will be having L1 and L2. So the link address of the Bob will be received here. So that's why you have L1 and L2. Okay, so L1, L2, you can able to identify the link addresses of the source and the destination users, or you can say the neighboring link. Okay, so the link address will be keep on changing with respect to the intermediate devices, but the IP address does not change. Here you see in all the frame, N1 and N8 remains the same, but the link address will be keep on changing. So with respect to the next node or the intermediate node, your link address will be changing with respect to the interface. If you are connected with the interface L5, you will be having L5 and L4. If you are connected with the interface L2, then you will be having L2, L2, L1 like that. Okay, so it will be keep on changing. So this is how a logical layer addressing will takes place between a. So if I have only my IP address, if I want to know the MAC address of the destination, this is how you normally transmit. So when you receive the acknowledgement, you will get to know your destination. So this is how you forward your packet from the source that is alias to the destination Bob. Explain once again. So this is very much important to you as far as link layer is addressing is concerned, because you need to know this IP address does not change. If it changes, then you may not be able to trace the packet of source and destination. But this link address, link is nothing but the connection between two nodes. You can say this is the node 1 and this is the node 2. So between these two, you will be having link address. Again, between these two, you will have a link address here. Then between these two, you will be having a link address here. So the link address will be keep on changing. Only it is between connection between two nodes. Okay. But the IP address is the one that does not change. If it changes, you may not be able to receive the packet. I hope you are clear with the concept of this link layer addressing. Do you have any doubts, students? Kindly reply or acknowledge. Do you have any doubt? Milky Sam? Milky Sam, are you there? So kindly answer. Astika, Akshaya Devi, Abhishek.
Sir.
No one is here alive. Kindly let me know, students. So are you clear?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
So whatever thing that I have explained, I have given explanation here, so that it will be useful when you are studying with the PPT. So while explaining, I explained with the diagram, but when you are studying, you need some explanation. So that's why I have given here. So you have two hosts, A and B, that is Alice and Bob. Two address, one is the link address, IP address. You have a pairs of address, so that they will be connected with each nodes. So you have three frames, each frame carries the same datagram, that is N and 8, that is N stands for the network IP address, and you will be having the destination address with respect to your MAC. So you need to know about your MAC address for transferring your data packets. So this is normally the addresses. You have the port address, so that is a 16-bit. It is available at the transport layer. You have source port and the destination port address. Then you have the network address, which is of a 32-bit. So this will be available in the network layer. That is IP address, destination IP address, source IP address. So this is delivering a process. Okay, packets are responsible for delivering a message from one process to other. So this is responsible for the original source to final destination within the same network or to a remote network. So you'll be using the IP address. Then at the data link layer, you'll be using the MAC address, which is 48-bit. So port address is 16-bit. Network address, that is IP address, is 32-bit. Then a data link address, or you can say a MAC address, is 48-bit. So it is responsible for delivering the data from one frame to other frame. Okay, so on a network interface card, by using the network interface card, you will be using that one. Then Ethernet address. So the MAC address is a Ethernet address, which is of a 48-bit. The next topic we will be discussing about the Ethernet address. What is an Ethernet? What are the different types of Ethernet? You have a simple Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet. So we will be discussing about those things after this addressing is over. You just you just know that you have 48-bit as the MAC address. Among the 48, you will be having this classification. So for that only, I have posted this slide. So the Ethernet MAC address is a 48-bit address with a 12 hexadecimal digits. Okay, so you'll be having a 12 hexadecimal digits. So you'll be having a so how this separation will be there. So by using this OUI, that is a organizationally unique identifier. So in Ethernet MAC address consisting of 6 hexadecimal vendor OUI code followed by 6 hexadecimal vendor assigned value. Okay, so that's why 12 you have, 12 into you will be having 4, so that is 48. So you will be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 OUI, then 6 vendor assigned address, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each of 4 bits. Okay, so when you club together, you will be forming byte. So when you take as a byte, you have 3 plus 3, 6. 6 into 8, 48. So you will be having, this is how you have the MAC address. So the 48 byte will be converted, bits will be converted into 3 8 bytes each. First 3 8 bytes, first 3 8 bits, 8 bytes will be, or you can say 3 8 bits, okay, or you can say 3 8 bytes, that is byte. So you have 3 1 2 3 8 bytes, that is used as a organizationally unique identifier. So the first three will be identified by the unique identifier. The second that is the second 3 byte will be identified by the vendor. So we'll be discussing about the MAC address. You have to know what are the details of the MAC address. Okay, one is the OUI and other one is the vendor assigned value. You have 3 types of address available. you know that you have unicast, multicast, and a broadcast. So you have 48. Among the 48, you will be having unicast, multicast, and a broadcast. So you will be 6. Okay, you will be having a 6 separation, which is of 8 bits length. So 6 into. Okay, so you will be having 6 into 8. You will be having the 48. Okay. So first one will be the unicast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 4 bit, this 4 bit. So totally you have 8 bits. Okay. So you will be having 6 into 8, 48 separation will be have. So with this, you can able to see it is a mixture of alphabets and numbers. That is hexadecimal. Only hexadecimal value will consisting of numbers and the alphabets. Okay. So if you want to have a unicast address, how will you identify with the given MAC address? You can see here. So unicast link layer is the most common in the LAN Ethernet. So in LAN and Ethernet, it is the most common thing. So it is a 48 bit, that is a 6 bytes. They are presented as 12 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. You have to ensure here you should have the colon in between the separation. Each separation is governed by the colon here. The link address of a computer, okay, which will give the link address. The second digit needs to be a odd number. If you want to identify your address, MAC address as a unicast address, the second one, which is represented in the red color, needs to be odd number. If it is an odd number, you can say that it is a unicast address. So provided it should be a 48 bit with 6 byte separation. In between you should have a colon. In that the second digit, or you can say the second bit, okay, that is the 4 bit separation. Okay, I can say the second digit is to be a odd number. If that is the case, it is to be a unicast. Then multicast, you know, multicast means among the available members, you will be having a group among the available members. That is said to be multicast. So for multicast link layers, it is also used in a common LAN and Ethernet. Here also you have 48 bits, that is 6 bytes, 12 hexadecimal digits separated with the colons. There you have the odd number. Here you should have a even numbers. So when you have even numbers with hexadecimal representation of a MAC address separated with a colon with totally 6 bytes of length, then you can say that it is a multicast address. So the multicast address will have the second digit to be a even number. The third category. So it is a broadcast link address, LAN used in a common LAN and Ethernet, in which you have all ones in a hexadecimal digits. That will be normally represented as F. F represents you will be having a 4 ones will be represented with a F. So when you have all F fields separated with a colon, it is said to be a broadcast link layer. So this is how you identify with the broadcast, unicast, and a multicast. So if you have your MAC address, if you say that it is a unicast or a broadcast or a multicast, you can be able to identify that one. Then we have an activity here. So the data link layer takes packets from dash and encapsulates them into frames for transmission. So from which layer it takes the packet? Network, physical, transport, or application layer? Milky Sam, this is your turn. The data link layer takes packets. You know that the packet is available in which layer? And encapsulate them into frames for transmission. So what is the answer? Milky Sam? Okay, anyone can answer. Kanmani? Do you know?
Physical layer.
Kanmani?
The physical layer.
See, normally as I told, a physical layer consisting of data in the form of a In physical layer, you will be having data in the form of
Packets.
no. Physical layer, before transmission of open media, it will be in the form of a. You forgot. Any answers? How the information will be in the physical layer?
Bits, sir.
Bits. So if it is bits, then frame, then above the frame, you will be having data in the form of a. In network layer, the data will be form of.
Packets, sir.
Yes, exactly. So it will be available in the form of a packets. Okay. So in the network layer, they are given the packets. So the link layer, above the link layer is the network layer. It will be in the form of a packets network layer. Which of the following tasks is not done by the data link layer? Framing, error control, flow control, channel coding. We have discussed in the morning about the task of the data link layer, which is not the apt answer.
Channel coding.
Exactly. Channel coding is not the correct answer. Which sublayer of the data link layer performs data link function that depends upon the medium? So depends upon the medium. So when you are discussing about the medium, which will be the correct one? Which sublayer of a data link layer performs data link functions? Depends upon the type of the media. You have four answers: logic link control, media access control, network interface control, error control. So which sublayer will be the answer? Data link layer performs data link function. So when you say about the link function, the answer will be
Logical link.
pardon?
LLC, sir.
Little bit louder.
LLC, sir.
LLC, yes, correct. So link layer, logic link layer will perform the linking functions of the layer 2. Next one, the header of the frame generally consists of. The header of the frame generally consisting of dash, synchronization bits, address, frame identifier, or all the above. Which is the correct one? Your answer,
Addresses, sir.
Nirmal? Pardon?
Addresses.
Address. So header of the frame normally consisting of all the above. It has synchronization bits. You will be having the address. You will be having the frame identifier. So all the three will be available. So your correct answer is this one. Which of the following is the multiple access protocol for channel access control? CSMA CD, CA, both, then HDLC. Which is the right one? Naveen? Naveen, are you there? Adil? Adil, are you there? So which is the correct answer? Multiple access techniques for channel access control. You have CSMA CD, CA, both CSMA CD and CA, and the HPLC. Which is the correct answer? Students, kindly answer. Lingeshwaran. Lingeshwaran. Pranati. Pranati, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Which one is correct answer, ma'am?
D, sir.
CSMA CD, Which is the right answer?
D, sir.
D, HDLC. So HDLC is not a multiple access protocol technique. Okay, CSMA CD and CSMA CA are the multiple access technique. So in CD only we will be detecting. So When you go with the CSMA CA, you will be avoiding the hidden and exposed terminal problem. So already in the unit 1, we have discussed about the challenges of a CSMA. So in that, we discussed about hidden and exposed terminal problem. So it can be overcome by using the collision avoidance mechanism. Okay, so this is the B is the correct answer. Last one, which is the layer that is responsible for sharing the physical media among the many computers or the devices? Sharing the media. First one is the link LLC. Next one is the MAC. So which is the right answer? You have only two options, LLC or MAC.
MAC, sir.
Exactly. So from the name itself, it is very clear that media access control. If you want to share the media, you should go with the MAC layer. Okay. So that's all for this session. You can say this is not for a session, that about the topic. So from the morning we have discussed about the services, link layer services, then the addressing. So we'll continue with that one. So we have discussed about the type of address. In that we will discuss about the unicast, broadcast, then multicast. Okay, so I'll ask a question. So if I want to know the MAC address is to be of a multicast nature, so how can I identify? Anyone? How can I identify the multicast nature? Students answer. So how it will be for unicast? So you know what is the size of the MAC address? Students, what is the size of the MAC address?
48 bits, sir.
48 bits. You reverse that, Dharani Pandian, you reverse that number. Instead of 48, you put 84. Wrongly typed. Okay, so among the 48, so by using colon, how many separation will be having? How many separation will be having with the colon? The 40. 6 separation. You should be having 8 bits, no? So 6 into 8, 48. Okay, you will be having 6 separation. Exactly, Kanmani. Okay, so among that, if you want to know, if I given a MAC address, how will you know whether it is a unicast, multicast, or a broadcast? So how will you know?
Sir,
So if it is a
second bit,
unicast?
even multicast, sir.
No. What about unicast?
Second bit, odd number இருக்கும், sir.
Second, it is not a bit, it is a second digit. Okay, if it is a second digit is a odd number, it is said to be a unicast. Then what about a multicast?
All
What about a
digits are F,
multicast?
sir.
Yes, pa?
All digits are F, sir.
No. That is not for multicast. If all digits are 1,
Multicast even, sir.
little bit louder, Nirmal.
Second digit even, sir, multicast.
Yes, second digit is even, it is said to be a multicast. If all bits are 1, it is said to be
Broadcast, sir.
broadcast. Okay, so how will you identify your MAC address? So in the lab tomorrow, we will be discussing about the MAC. Okay, so how will you know your IP address, then MAC? So we already discussed about the commands. Hope you remember in the very first lab classes we have discussed about the commands. IP config, that will give you the IP address. Then show IP/all, that will give you all your MAC address, everything. Okay, so if it is a odd number or a even number, you can come to a conclusion it is a unicast or a multicast. See, normally it will be identified by a 6 colon separation, or you can say 48 bits. Okay, So at the end of the class, I will be showing that command. Okay, ipconfig slash all. Okay, just remind me, Nirmal. You just remind me, Nirmal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, remind me. I will showing that MAC address. So now we'll be discussing it. So for what purpose you are going for ARP? I have told in the morning. What is the purpose of ARP? That's what you are going to discuss now. You will be having a communication example, then error detection. So under error detection, you have three schemes available. We will be discussing three, and before that, we will be discussing about the ARP. So what is the purpose of ARP? ARP is a protocol which will be used in a layer 2. Okay, what is ARP? Address Resolution Protocol. So what is address? It is the, or you can say it is the thing that is used to identify individual node. Okay. So if I want to identify an individual user or the node, I need some address. So there are two types of address. One is the MAC address, other one is the, what is that? What are the different types of address? Students, what are the different types of address? Do answer. Milky Sam, you didn't respond so far. Before the starting of class, I asked you to respond. Whether it is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what are the different types of address you have? Astika, Astika, are you there? Akshaya Devi, Astika, I want at least one of the class you should answer. In each and every class, I am keep on asking your name, but you are not responding. Brinda, Brinda, are you here? Brinda, Sai Kumar, Sai Kumar, are you there? What are the three type of address? Anyone can answer. Jay Sharma, Jay Sharma, are you here?
Sir, unicast, multicast, and broadcast.
Okay, that is the way normally address will be represented. I am asking the three different types of addressing. How do you address? What are the different ways in which you can address? I have put on slide. You have three different address. One is the IP addressing. Other one is the, what are the three? First one is the port addressing. Okay, next one is the IP addressing layer 3. Then layer 2, what is the addressing in layer 2? Layer 4 you have port addressing. Layer 3 you have IP addressing. Layer 2, what is the layer 2 addressing?
MAC, sir.
MAC. You have three different names. What are the names? MAC address or
Link address.
link address or three names given for single addressing. MAC addressing correct. Link addressing correct. What is the other type of addressing? Other name. It is called
Physical address, sir.
exactly physical addressing. Okay, so you have three different types of addressing given for the MAC addressing. Okay, so okay, now we come to the topic. So what is the use of ARP protocol, or what is ARP protocol? The morning session I have told you what is an ARP protocol. Address resolution protocol. So for what purpose you will be using? Ravi Teja, do you know? Ravi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
For what purpose you will be using ARP? Do you know? Ravi, do you know? Kridaya, Kridaya, do you know for what purpose you will be using ARP? Kribaharani, Malavika, Malavika, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For what purpose you are using ARP? Do you know? Yes or no, ma?
For finding the hardware IP address. Sir.
Okay, if you have IP address, if you want to know that, or if you want to get the MAC address, we'll go with the ARP. If we have MAC address with you, and if you want to get the IP address, we'll go for RERP, reverse ARP. Okay, so ARP is the address resolution protocol that is used to identify the MAC address or mapping the IP address with the map address. We have ARP, and for mapping the MAC address and the IP address, we'll go with the RERP. Okay, you should know this one. This is very important concept. So address resolution protocol is a node as an IP datagram. So the datagram is the type of the information or the data you have. So I have IP packet. Okay. So that is what datagram here. Here the datagram is your packet. So when I say IP corresponds to which layer? IP corresponds to which layer? Any answers?
Network, sir.
Yes, exactly. Network layer. So network layer, you have the datagram is in the form of packets. Okay. So when I have IP packet to send to another node in a link, it has a IP address of the receiving node. Okay. So I have IP address with me. The IP address of the next node is not helpful in moving a frame through a link. So the link normally comes into picture in layer 2. So there you have a frame available. Okay. So with the IP address alone, it is not possible to move the frame from one link to other link. So the MAC address is required. That's why we have seen the diagram. So in the diagram, you encapsulated your IP address along with your MAC address. So the MAC address is the link address. Okay. So between two nodes, you have the link. Only with the link, you can able to proceed further for your data transfer. So the MAC address is required for the next node. So address resolution protocol will map the IP address with the link address. So in order to map the link address and the IP address, you should go with the ARP, that is the address resolution protocol. So this ARP belongs to network layer. It also operates in a data link layer. So from conversion of IP to MAC, it operates at the network layer. From the conversion of this MAC to IP, it will operate in the data link layer. So ARP accepts the IP datagram from the IP protocol, maps the address to the corresponding link address, and pass it to the link layer. So this is how this ARP works. So this is the operation of an ARP. So you will be having the network layer, that is the layer 3. So the two protocols is very essential. See, listen, tomorrow we'll have a lab class. You just note it down. You have a protocol called ICMP. Okay. So ICMP operates in which layer? Network layer. You just remind, network layer takes the role of a routing. So all the routes will be determined by this network layer. You have a protocol called ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. So here we make use of IP. IP is the main protocol, and these are the sub protocols, or you can say subordinate protocols that is available along with IP. Here you have the ARP. So in network layer you have the ARP. So this IP will be converted or mapped to ARP. So when you make use of any data transfer, you need two protocols. What are they? So first we will normally deal with the ARP, and for data transfer you will go with this ICMP. So when you transmit any packet, you will be having these two. So that you will come to know exactly. So when the lab classes, when session starts, You will be lab class will it will be very interesting. Don't miss the lab class and lab sessions. So from this so to map the IP address available in the network layer to the link address or the physical address or the MAC address available in the data link layer. So for mapping, you will go with the ARP. So we know what is the protocol function of ARP. We want to know how the ARP works. So here is the operation. So we want to communicate with the system A and the system B. So you will be making a request. Okay, so a request will be sent. As you know that you have L1, that is the one that you want to know. Okay, L stands for, what is that L stands for? L stands for,
Link address.
students. Nirmal, a little bit louder, Nirmal.
Link address, sir.
Pardon?
Link address, sir.
Okay, that is a MAC address, or you can say link address. And N stands for network, or you can say physical address. Okay. So as I told, when you transmit your IP, your source will be the first one. When you transmit your MAC, your source will be the second one. Okay, so it will be N1 will be sent as a request. Okay, so whatever the nodes that are available nearby or the routers available. So here, what we put here, this is a broadcast. What do you mean by broadcast? What is broadcast? Whoever resides or nearby me will be receiving all the information. So that is the concept of broadcast. So in the request, you are looking for a link layer address of a node with an IP address N2. So that is what you want. You want to communicate with a N2. For that, you need the MAC address. Okay. So the N2 will be available with the IP datagram. So with the IP datagram, you will be having the N1 and the N2. You are looking for a N2 MAC address. Okay. So you will be broadcasting that packet as a request. Whoever knows, here you have one node available, here you have one node available. The node in the sense it may be a router. Okay. So it receives and will check whether you are N2, whether you are N2. If it is not so, this node also will be receiving. I will be checking whether I will be N2. So if I am N2, I will be sending the L2, that is my MAC address. L2 is my MAC address. So I will be sent as an acknowledgement. So that is what here. So this is the concept of ARP. So ARP, we have two cases. One is the request case, other one is the first one is the request case, other one is the reply. So ARP operation will be performed with the two cases. One is the request and reply. In request, I will be requesting for the MAC address of my destination. So when I am transmitting a request, the request consisting of two information. One is the source address, that is IP address, and destination IP address. I will be broadcasting my request so that all the node nearby me will be receiving. So every node will be receiving. I will be checking whether my IP address and the received IP address are same. If it is so, I will be accepting. Otherwise, I will be rejecting or discarding that one. So the system B will receive the address and will ensure that this IP address reply. So I am the node and my link layer address, or you can say physical address, or my logical address is L2. So I will be replying. You have to ensure one thing. Can you identify the difference that exists between the figure 1 at the top and the figure 1 at the bottom in the reply? So in the request, how the request propagates and how the reply propagates. Can you ensure the difference here? Students, can you ensure the difference that exists in the request and reply in the propagation mechanism? Can anyone identify the difference here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Nirmal.
Yes, sir. The request is broadcast, sir, but the reply is unique, sir.
A little bit, Nirmal. I could not able to hear you.
Yes, sir. The request is a broadcast, sir, but the reply is unique.
Yes, the request is a broadcast one, whereas the reply is the unicast one. So the MAC address will be a unicast in nature. So it will be a 48 bit with when you have a unicast, you will be having that your second bit will be a odd number or even number. For unicast, whether it is odd number or even number.
Odd number, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So you can able to see here. So this reply is a unicast, whereas here the request is a broadcast. Once I identify my destination, the destination IP, that is MAC address, will be straight away sent back to your source node. So this is how the communication take place in ARP protocol. So ARP protocol will be inserted with a request and a reply. MAC address. Okay. This node and this node does not receive the MAC address of this system B. So that is the difference between the request and the reply of ARP operation. Is it clear? Do you have any doubt with the ARP operation? ARP operation nothing but I have IP address, I want MAC address. So I want to get the MAC address of my destination where I want to send my data. So are you clear, students? Do you have any doubt with the IRP operation? Students, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, kindly acknowledge. So this is the ARP packet. So during the packet transfer in Packet Tracer laboratory, I will be showing this frame format, or you can say this is the message format. If you transmit any message, you can see here all these things are filled with text information. So in lab classes, the same thing will be filled with some data. I will be showing that in lab. You just remind me. So you will be having a hardware type, a protocol type, your hardware length, a protocol length. You will be having this one. Whether this information is a request or this information is a reply. If we have one here, it is a request. If we have two here, it is a reply. Then your source hardware address, your source protocol address. Okay, hardware address means, what is the hardware address? What is the hardware address for?
MAC, sir.
What does the hardware address means?
Physical address, sir.
Hardware address. Then you have source protocol address. Then you are requesting, this will be normally empty, that's why it is given in a blue color. You need the destination hardware address, MAC address in color. You need to fill that one with the reply message. Then the destination protocol address, that is your IP address. Protocol here, your IP protocol. Okay. So this is the table that you need to, when you filled with the data, you will come to know what exactly how the information broadcast and unicast. So we make use of two addressing. One is the port addressing, link addressing, and unicast and broadcast. Okay. So this is the example. A host with IP address N1 and a MAC address L1. So a MAC address is L1. The MAC address means the source MAC address is L1. So this is the MAC addresses of L1 and IP address is N1 as a packet to send to the another host with the IP address N2. I know the IP address as N2 and the physical address L2, which is unknown to the first hot. Okay, so this system A is under whatever thing that we discussed with the ARP request and reply, the same thing is given here. So in a frame format. Okay, so L2 is not known to the source. Okay, it is having only L1 and N1 and it is also having N2. So what do you want to know? You want to know the N2 here. So the two hosts are on the same network. So when I am in the same network, when I am in different network, the scenarios will be differing. So following figure, how the ARP request and response with the messages is shown here. So I will be broadcasting. ARP request is a broadcast message. Okay, this is the frame format. You will be having L1, N1. This will be filled with all zero because I don't know the destination MAC address. Okay, so I know the destination source, that is IP address. Okay, so this is my MAC address, my IP address. Then I don't know about the link address. That's why I put all zeros. Then I know about the IP address of destination. That's why I put the field. So here, as I told, one is nothing but the request information, and two is nothing but your reply information. Okay. So this is the message format that is available. So M stands for you have the multicast, or you can say you can go for the broadcast here. So this is the frame format that will be forwarded after receiving by the system B. So you will be having this one. So the system B is going to have the reply here. So that's why you put a 2 here. You will have the L2 address available. Okay, so L2 is the address identified by the destination. So system B address is L2 here. You know the IP address of L2. Now you know the MAC address. Since you know the MAC address from the message that you have received, you know the MAC address, that is the destination address. Now you have the destination host address, that is the IP address. Okay. So with that, you will be sending the same thing with from B to A in a reverse direction as a reply message. So you will be using the point-to-point here. Here you will be using the point-to-point communication. So by using the point-to-point with the ARP, you have established your communication. So this is at each and every stage how the communication established. Okay, so this is at the source stage, that is the allay stage. You have the point-to-point communication. So you can see allay stage. You have this is the source. Then you have one node, that is R1. You have another node R2. Then you have there are 4 devices, or you can say 4 devices available. One is the 2 end devices available and 2 intermediate devices are available. Now we are going to see how the communication is established at each and every node. Okay, so at allay side how the communication is established, then at R1, at R2 and at Bob side. So this is what we are going to discuss now. So first flow of packet at the allay side. So how it takes place at the allay side. Okay, so we'll stop here. So if we continue, it will take more than 10 minutes time. So for time being, we'll stop here. Then we'll continue in the next class how the packet flow take place between the point-to-point communication with the 2 intermediate devices are available. Okay, so the same thing will happen in a real time. If you have any doubt so far, you kindly let me know. So we'll stop here. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, students. Dinesh Kumar, absent in the morning. Am I right? 19 Dinesh Kumar, you were in the absent.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session.